Oh, it's gonna... Oh, gosh. I don't like that. I really don't like
You all got anything funny to say?
I hate sharks.
So I went to Harry Potter World, and my window's wide open. So I went to Harry Potter World, and it was great. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy Harry Potter World, which is to be expected considering I don't love Harry Potter, which is really the main reason why you'd go in the first place. And it was a great time. It was great fun. I could have done so much more on that entire day. But yeah, I didn't really like Harry Potter World. I think it'd be kind of interesting if I just talk about it for, what, like 10 minutes? Considering I took a couple of photos. Just a couple. By the way, this is the London one, not the American one, because our school isn't rich, and also that's a theme park. Harry Potter World, it's sold as it's basically a walk-in movie experience, as in you get to walk around all these sets. There's a little bit of like info around it, or all the shops are decorated to kind of look like they're in the world. You get to drink butterbeer. It's all like you're walking into the world, but it's also a behind the scenes experience. That's kind of interesting to me. I was like, okay, that's cool. It isn't that. There are elements of that, like with the train, the forest, the Great Hall, but the rest of it is just a museum. Yeah. Just a museum. Which is kind of false advertising, really. I guess the idea is, oh yeah, you get to walk in to some of the sets, and it's really cool. But in reality, you're just kind of walking past them because it's in a museum, and you're just kind of walking past these very obviously fake recreations of these sets. And I'm not like, they have to be real, because like, they're not going to cut out a section of it. But my god, these looked so bad. There was a couple that were really detailed, such as the cupboard under the stairs. That's pretty neat. Diagon Alley was pretty neat. Oh, that's another one you get to walk in, Diagon Alley. I don't know if I said that earlier. I'm just going to say it. You get to walk down Diagon Alley. There is literally nothing there. I don't think there's any museum bits at all. It's just walking through Diagon Alley. And god, is it underwhelming. They didn't even bother putting a shop there. Like, I thought that they had the butterbeer shop there, because that would be kind of cool. Them putting butterbeer there, that would be kind of interesting. No, you just go to a basic cafe and buy some butterbeer. Speaking of butterbeer, garbage. You ever had Coke before? You ever had some really cheap and nasty Coke, like a Coke rip-off, like Tesco Coke? If you're not from the UK, you don't know what I'm talking about. Cheap and nasty off-brand Coke. Put some cream on top. And really, really bad cream. Like really sugary, kind of not cream. There's your butterbeer. £3, please. £3 for about that much in like a plastic cup. And it's disgusting. Alternatively, you could spend £7 and get a memorabilia mug that you have your stuff in. And I thought, okay, that's kind of cool. My sister loves Harry Potter. I might get one for her. Slight issue is, you look on the bottom and it's got all the copyright writing on it. And then I look at it and it's really cheap, really nasty. You know the kind of stuff you get in like a McDonald's Happy Meal? £7, please. We went into the Forbidden Forest bit. That was kind of cool. It had a load of animatronic stuff. I just remembered the Patronus. There was a bit where you got to turn on the Patronus from like a regular dog or wolf or whatever it was into a Patronus. And they just strapped some LEDs to it.
So this says glowing Patronus. Like this dog, right, it's going to turn into a Patronus. Just watch this. Oh my god, this is amazing. This is the best special effect I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
That was what they did. They just strapped some LEDs to this stuffed dog. So they made this whole animatronic bit where Aragog moves, all the spiders come down. And I'm like, this was CG in the film. Why are you doing this? There is no purpose to this, because this wasn't used at any point in the film. So why are you doing this? Seriously, why? There was also this bit where you got to ride on a broomstick on a green screen, and it was really bad. They charged you £5 for a slightly edited photo of you playing Quidditch. And I'm like, if you just let us take a photo, I could go home in 5 minutes, I could just do it myself. And I could probably get a better result than what a computer algorithm is doing. Of course, they didn't let us take photos because that undermines their entire selling point. I didn't bother doing it because I knew they'd try and make us buy it, and I didn't really want to wait in a queue. That's the point. The queues were absolutely hideous. You basically walk into this little building that they've made just for like site checks, okay? And then you walk through this like metro tunnel over to the actual one of the filming buildings. I don't know what they're called, filming hangars, you know what I'm talking about. And then you have to sit in this queue for about 15 minutes as they slowly funnel you into this hall. And then once you're in there with about like, I don't know, like 80 people, they do a little bit of chat, and then they start playing this video, but it's like a vertical video, and then they immediately funnel you into this can't speak, into this hall, which is like a cinema, and then they play you like this 5 minute video featuring Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and the girl. They just play you this video, which basically is like, oh yeah, you're at Harry Potter World, and look at how many lives this has touched. We're definitely not stuck up. Just before it starts playing, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a movie marathon of all the Harry Potter films. Haha, haha, and you all think, oh, that's very funny. And then the video starts, and it has the Warner Brothers logo. Why have you put a Warner Brothers logo on an intro bit for Harry Potter World? Why? Then they funnel you into the Great Hall in a kind of interesting bit where they kind of show on the video bit the Great Hall, and then the projector comes up, and oh my god, it's the exact same doorway. Then they get someone to open the door, someone whose birthday it is. That's kind of cool. That's kind of neat. You get to open a plastic door. Wow, that's amazing. I didn't check if it was plastic, but it probably was. Everything there was plastic. They had the Goblet of Fire there, which was kind of neat, where they just had like this little goblet that we all had to gather around, and it just kind of shot out some paper that had the word Harry Potter written on it, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then they were like, oh yeah, you can get one. You can get your own if you didn't get one from the next room. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I go get one. And I look at it, I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. You look on the back and it has some copyright stuff on it. And I'm like, why? It's a piece of paper that just has the word Harry Potter written on it. For God's sake, why? Can I just acknowledge that this was £41 for a museum? That if you just walked through it and didn't really look at anything, would take you 5 minutes. £41 for anyone who's American who's watching is about $55. That's a lot of money. Like, I could go to, I don't know, Alton Towers for that much. And there was this really funny part where they were showing like a behind the scenes bit. I must acknowledge that the actual behind the scenes art stuff and props, that was cool. That was really interesting. The huge castle that they recreated in about 38 days. My god! The miniature versions of all those, that was really cool. But then they also had this bit in the BTS section that really annoyed me. They had Dobby on the Xbox One Kinect. They had 3 Kinects on the wall. They had some marks on the floor. They had some TVs, and they had the different stages of Dobby. They had like the basic thing that you just have on the Xbox One Kinect, which is the basic outline of your body. And then they had like a basic, like, I don't know, kind of wireframe thing with a little bit of colour. You can kind of see it's Dobby. And then the last one, they had Dobby, but it was really bad. And I'm like, you didn't create Dobby this way. You animated him painstakingly. You might have used an actual person to get a grasp on where he is using like a green suit, but you didn't use Kinect. Why are you showing this, you imbecile? What I thought was funny, and so did Aaron, was the fact that there was like 3 kids doing it. They were like in front of them, and we started talking about, oh, we should go on there and we should make him dab. And immediately as I said it, this kid makes Dobby dab, and all the while the legs are up in the face because the Kinect isn't working properly. And we just start laughing hysterically. And then this kid starts looking at us. And we bolt. Oh, £41, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it will get you. Oh dear. There was a bit where you got to walk in the Dudley Dursley house. And I'm like, why? They also had a bit where they painstakingly showed you how they made these bricks out of plastic. And I'm like, why? You've clearly shown wide shots before in some of the films where there's loads of houses around them. And I'm like, which would be cheaper? Recreating about 3 houses in painstaking detail to make it look as realistic as possible, and having a lovely blue sky up, and having a road in front of it, or are you just filming on location, which is about 500 times cheaper? But then they show you how they managed to make plastic look like bricks. The Dudley Dursley house is also walk-in, but not fully walk-in. You just walk through like a little wall, and you can see like all the things that are holding it up, all the scaffolding stuff. And I'm like, why? Like, if you're gonna recreate the set, fine, do it like you did earlier, but don't recreate like a walk-in thing that isn't an accurate depiction of the set, was never used in the films. Why did you do this? Why? There was also a bridge, which I was surprised to learn wasn't plastic, which was pretty amazing. And I was visibly shocked when I touched it, and it wasn't plastic. Wow, guys! Good job! And of course, when you actually look through all of this stuff, you eventually realise that this entire experience was based just to get you to the shop at the end, which is so large. My god! Bear in mind they already had like 3 shops before this selling individual items. And then you consider that they're adding about £4 onto the value of everything. I had to buy some toffee for my sister. It was a box of toffee about this big, okay? I'd say, I don't know, like normally it would be about, I don't know, £1.50. £6! £6! They also sell these wands, like a specific one for every person in the films, like Harry Potter, the other one. But all of the wands, they're really, really, really bad. They're like cheap plastic, and that you could clearly tell they've been mass-produced to an extent. And you're like, okay, that's like kind of cool thing. You get it in a box. I'd say, I don't know, £15, £30. Bear in mind, if you're American, that's about $40. My sister has a bunch of these ones, and they're all bad. I have a bunch of Harry Potter merch. Actually, let me get some. I need to make this set look more interesting. Mug, Pac-Man in. I don't know if that's in the shot. It should be. We've got this, and also this thing. I'm just showing how much of a true Potterhead I am, and that means that my opinions matter. Let me just What else have I got in here? I also have this, which is 10 quid paper. I'm not sure how much this was, but I'm fairly sure it was overpriced. Yeah, so it's some paper, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's like a map of Hogwarts. Plot twist, it isn't a map of Hogwarts. That's too hard, right? They drew some of it, and they couldn't be bothered to draw the rest. Like, it's kind of nice paper, I guess. They were also selling Harry Potter branded umbrellas in there that were just basic blue umbrellas with the word Harry Potter on them. Have they got anything on the back? No, it's just the logo. Just the logo. And copyright as well. You can't forget the copyright. Can't forget the trademarks, everyone. Yeah, they were selling Harry Potter branded umbrellas that were just basic blue umbrellas with the word Harry Potter on them. Guess the price? £20! That kind of umbrella, if it didn't have the word Harry Potter on it, would cost about 2 quid. That's how overpriced this stuff is. Also, look at how awful the packaging is on this. Like, seriously. Oh, I found the price. This thing. This is like a kind of detailed statue kind of thing. I've never opened this before. Should I get it out? Nah. It's a detailed statue of one of the dragons from the film. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, that's kind of neat. You can see that it's clearly mass-produced and basically just looks like a cheap action figure. So I'm like, oh, that shouldn't be that much money. Oh, it even has like a little bit that it can come out of. So it'd just be an individual statue. That's kind of cool. Not worth £35 though. I dropped that way too hard. To be fair, if you're a true Harry Potter head, like my sister, you will love this thing. But at the same time, my god, is it overpriced. If you don't care about Harry Potter, or are not completely obsessed with it, so you've watched the films, you've read the books, that's the extent, you really won't care that much. To be fair, if you're a die-hard Harry Potter fan, you will adore this. It's guaranteed. But if you're not, if you're the 99.9% of other people who like the films, but don't obsess over them, don't go. Just don't. It's a waste of money. And at the end of the day, it's literally just to sell your merchandise.
I hate sharks. Oh, you've been in the burn?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on this?
No opinion.
No opinion?
I just hate sharks.